Brown's recital is being completed in partial fulfillment for her degree in a Bachelor of Science in Speech Education. After her performance, she would love to greet her guests out in the lobby. Here at the college, it's always our privilege to start our performances with prayer. Please stand while I pray. Lord, thank you for Sarah and her hard work. I pray that you will help this audience to just enjoy every moment of this magical recital. I also pray that you'll help them to just remember who this recital is about and what it represents. Lord, help Sarah to be calm and to remember all she's worked on. You may pray. Amen. You may have a seat.
Nephew. Oh, hello there. Hello. What's your name? Polly. What's yours? Diggory. Well, I say, what a funny name. Not half as funny as Polly. No, it isn't. Yes, it is. Well, at least I wash my face, which is something you need to do, especially after you've been crying. All right then, so I have. But so would you if you had lived your whole life in the country and had to come live in a hole like this. London is not a hole. And if your father hadn't gone away to India and left you to stay with your mad aunt and uncle, then who would like that? And if the only reason was because they were watching over your mother, and your mother was sick and going to die. Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't know. Is your uncle actually mad? Well, he's mad or some other mystery. You see, he has an office at the top of the attic floor, and Aunt Letty says I should never go up there. If that's not fishy to begin with, he keeps trying to say something to me at mealtimes, only she keeps shutting him up. What sort of things does he try to say? Well, I don't know. He never gets far enough. But last night, when I was passing the base of the stairs that leads up to the attic floor, I'm sure I heard a yell. Oh, how exciting! I never knew your house was so interesting. Well, you wouldn't think it were interesting if you had to sleep there. This is how Diggory and I got to know one another. And since it was the beginning of summer holidays, we saw each other nearly every day. It's amazing how much exploring you can do with just the stump of a candle and a large house, or large group of houses. You see, I had long ago discovered that a certain door in my attic led to a dark place, with brick on one side and a sloping roof on the other. Well, I rather like this cave. How long does it go for? Does it stop where your house ends? No. Well, actually, into the darkness, walking rafter to rafter. Diggory, come look! Oh, it's a little door. I'm right behind you. Shall I? Well, I'm game if you are. Polly! Oh, it's not an empty attic at all. Oh, it looks just like my attic, but it's also a sitting room. Oh, Diggory, look at all these books. And look at those rings. 2 yellow and 2 green rings. Aren't they the loveliest things you ever did see? Polly, I think we ought to get out of here. The sooner we get out of here, the better. Off the Andrew! Though we were not in an empty attic at all. Uncle Andrew was seated in a high-back chair on the opposite side of the room the entire time. Uncle Andrew was a tall, thin man with a long, clean-shaven face, sharply pointed nose, bright, beady eyes, and a great tousled mop of gray hair. The first thing he did was run to the opposite side of the room, close the door, and turn the key in the lock. Aha, there! Now my fool of a sister can't get to you! Quick, Polly, the little door! I'm delighted to see you. Oh, Mr. Kettley, why, it's almost our dinner time and they'll be looking for us soon. Will you please let us go? Oh, no. This is too great of an opportunity to miss. You see, I'm in the middle of a great experiment and 2 children is just what I need. Uncle Andrew, she's right. You really must let us go. Must? If you let us go now, we'll come back after dinner. Oh, but how would I know you would? Oh, no. Oh. Well, I suppose if you must go, you must. I can't expect it to be fun for 2 children like yourselves to talk to an old buffer like me. Before you go, allow me to present you with the gift. Why, it's not every day that I see a young girl in my study, especially one as attractive as yourself. Would you like a ring, dear? You mean one of those yellow green ones? Well, oh no, not the green one. I can't dare part with those, but a yellow one with my love. Come, try one on for size. No, Polly, don't be a fool, don't touch! She's gone. Polly! Silence, my boy! Do you want to give your mother a fright? You know what a scare might do to her. Well, I suppose you just couldn't help yourself. Why, it even gave me a fright when I saw that guinea pig disappear the other night. What have you done with Polly? Oh, you should congratulate me, my boy, for my experiment has succeeded. I have sent her to a different world. What do you mean? Well, have you heard of my godmother, Mrs. LeFay? No? Well, people thought she was rather strange. They had to lock her up, you see. In an asylum? Oh, no, nothing of the sort. It was only prison. all of that. Right before she died, she gave me a box. I knew the moment my hand grasped that box by the tingling of my fingers that I held some great secret in my hands. Her expressed desire before she died was that I bury it and burn it. That promise I did not keep. Well, that was jolly rotten of you. Oh no, Diggory, you see, men like me who possess hidden wisdom are free from commonplace rules. Ours, my boy, is a hard and lonely destiny. Well, that means you can do whatever you want and get away with it. But what does any of this have to do with Polly? Well, you see, there was something in that box from a world that was just beginning. Dust, or just dust, but dust from a different world. I knew if I could get that dust in the right form, I could send the person back to the place it came. I succeeded in making 2 yellow rings. I also succeeded in making 2 green rings for the return journey home. But Polly doesn't have a green ring. Oh, well, no, she doesn't. Then she can't get back. It's like you murdered her. Oh, poor she can get back if someone wearing a yellow ring goes after her with 2 green rings. One for her and one for him. You're a beast. I suppose you planned the whole thing. Of course. Fine. I'll go. I guess I should wrap Polly's in a handkerchief first, but what about my mother? Well, the sooner you go, the sooner you can return. By gum, don't I wish I was tall enough to punch your head? Oh, posh! Now, if you please. Polly? Polly? Polly, where are you? keen on the idea of exploring. I'll go anywhere you go. Really? Then how about those golden doors over there? Polly, there's people in there. Oh, no, there isn't. Let me see. Oh, my goodness, there are. Who are they? They aren't saying a word. Let's have a look. Diggory and I would never forget the figures that sat in stony silence. Each one was seated upon a throne dressed in majestic apparel. Their blaze of colors brought life to the world that was empty and full of dust. But the last figure was most interesting. A woman, more richly dressed than the rest, with a look of such fierceness and pride, it took our breath away. Oh, I wish I knew the story behind this place. What do you suppose this golden bell is for? Look, there's something written on it. By God, there is. Make your choice, adventurous stranger. Strike the bell or bide the danger. Or wonder till it drives you mad. What would have followed if you had? Oh no, we wouldn't want any danger here. Don't you see? Well, it's too late now. Besides, I'm not going home to London being driven mad by that. They're silly as if anyone would. That's the magic of it, don't you see? I can feel it working on me already. Well, I don't, and no, I don't suppose you do either. You're just putting it on. Well, that's all you know because you're a girl, and girls only know how to gossip about people getting engaged. How exactly like a man? And don't say I'm a woman either, or I'll call you a beastly copycat. Oh, as if I'd ever dream of calling a kid like you a woman. So I'm a kid, am I? Well, you shan't be bothered by a kid any longer. I'm off with my rings, and I'm done with you, and this bell, and this place, you beastly stuck-up obstinate pig. Polly, don't you dare touch your ring or I'll... Diggory, what have you done? Oh, the bell, it's getting awfully loud. Polly, the wall's caving in behind you. Oh, I hope you're satisfied. Well, it's over, isn't it? We both thought it was over. But neither of us had been more mistaken in our entire lives. For the figure that was more richly dressed than the rest was rising slowly from her chair. Who has awakened me? Well, I suppose it must have been me. You, a common child. How did one such as you dare enter this great house? Well, we got here by magic. Is this true? Boy. Well, yes. Well, yes it is. Let me see your face. You are no magician. The mark is not on you. You are magician's servant. 'Tis by another's magic that you come here. Well, yes, it was my uncle down a maze of halls until we came to a great door, which she then destroyed with her powerful magic. We stepped through the broken doorway, overlooking a desolate landscape. Look well on a place that no eye shall ever more see. Thus is charm, but it is silent now. But I remember when there was war in the streets, and when the river of charm ran red. Then, all in a moment, one woman blotted it out forever. Who was that woman? I, Janus the last queen. It was my sister's fault. If only she would have given up the throne, I would have spared her life. But she wouldn't, for she knew that I knew the secret of the deplorable word. Did she think I would not use it? I did not use it until she forced me to, even after I poured out my army's blood like water. I waited until I saw my sister's face, then spoke the deplorable word, and became the only living thing underneath the sun. But what about the people? What about the people? I was their queen. What were they to do than my bidding? Well, it's sort of bad luck on them all the same. I had forgotten you are only a common child. Understand this, boy. I am the great queen. I do not live by the same rules as man. For mine is a hard and lonely destiny. That's exactly what my Uncle Andrew said. Well, we ought to be going now. Yes, it is cold in the end of all ages. Let us be off then. Off to where? To your world, of course. What were you to do then come and fetch me? Well, it's not her sort of place, is it, Polly? Very dull, not worth seeing, really. It will be once I'm done with it. Well, they wouldn't let you. It's not like that. You know? Insolent fools! Let go of me! Let go! Polly, grab your rings! Dearie! At that moment, the queen grabbed me by my hair at the top of my head, where it hurts the most. But in doing so, she had let go of both of our hands. Dickory and I plunged our hands into our pockets for the rings, and in a moment, we were in Uncle Andrew's study, with Uncle Andrew himself looking at the creature we had brought from another world. Oh, you insolent! Where is the magician who has brought me to this land? Oh, well, if only I had time to make more preparations. Where is the magician? Fool. I'm the magician, madam. I am. You? I know what you are. You are a magician that goes by rules and books. I shall make you my servant. Oh, but madam, you talk far too much. Here's your first task. Go procure for me whatever form of transportation your royals use in this land. Uncle Andrew procured for her a cab, and within moments it was a sight to behold. An angry mob, a vicious queen, and a miserable-looking Uncle Andrew all on the of London. At the nearest opportunity, Diggory grabbed her robes and I from my rings, and in a moment, there was nothing. Oh, the delirium! Oh, I never wanted to be a magician. Oh, it's all my godmother's fault. Oh, Polly, are you there? Yes, but we seem to have brought the cabby. And Uncle Andrew, do you know where we are? Maybe we got her in the middle of the night. No. This is not John. This is an empty world. This